Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio NBA closing time show for Wednesday, May 19th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack, and Skee Profit as the play-in round continues tonight with two more games on tap. Grizzlies, Spurs, Warriors, Lakers, and we'll also look ahead to tomorrow night where Washington and Indiana will play for the 8th seed and the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. So looking forward to breaking down these games. We'll start with San Antonio and Memphis. First of the two play-in games tonight, both of them on ESPN tonight. So make sure you get the network right, ESPN, for both games tonight. We've got Memphis 4-point favorites here, 222 the total in this game. I'm a little bit conflicted as far as the side goes. I do lean a little to San Antonio +4. I just don't know if I'm fully on board with laying 4 with Memphis. Part of me does believe Memphis is a little bit better team, though, than San Antonio. So I'm a little bit back and forth in terms of where I go from a side perspective. I do think we can get there over the total in this game. The one total I bet yesterday was that Charlotte, Indiana over, and there wasn't a lick of defense being played in that game, especially on the Charlotte side of things, with Indiana racking up over 140 points in that victory. You look at San Antonio in terms of their defensive acumen, nothing to write home about going into this game and the way they've played all season long on the defensive end of the basketball court. Just 19th in the NBA defensively this season. And, with Memphis, there's a lot of options now with Morant, with JV. Since Jaren Jackson's come back, he's been a terrific scorer, really, since he's gotten back from injury. And there's just a lot more options. They could do screen roll. They could do drive the lane. They could do a lot of different things now, Memphis offensively. And it's just, I think, going to be a lot to ask here for San Antonio in this game. But the Spurs, we know what their strength is with DeJounte Murray, with DeMar DeRozan, Patty Mills, guys like that being able to score themselves. And Memphis's defense is not always locked in for a full 48 minutes. You get those spurts where they dig in, usually when the game is close late, but a lot of times they'll just you can make things happen and run your offense against this team. So I do like the game to go over the total. I just have a small lean in terms of the side to San Antonio. Skee, what do you think here? Memphis hosting San Antonio.
I think you'll see you'll see a better Spurs effort on defense than you've been seeing lately. And I do trust the Grizzlies to play defense as well. So I think I would lean more towards under the total, but I'll focus on the side in this one. And I'm looking at the Spurs. I mean, I don't think it's a secret. You guys know, you've done enough shows with me that I don't like this Memphis team. I don't like John Morant. I just don't think they're a good team. And when you're going up a good coach in a playoff type environment, I think that they'll game plan for that. They'll put you in scenarios that you're not usually successful in, which is forcing John Morant to take jump shots, similar to how we saw Golden State play him. And I just see like a lot of motivation factors for the Spurs. It could be like a revenge type game for them off of getting blown out. It could be ESPN leaving them off of the graphic for the playoff race. And it's too many ways for me. I don't want the Grizzlies to win by margin. I think the Spurs can win this game outright. So I'll take the Spurs plus the points.
All right, liking San Antonio plus the points here, Skee Profit in this one, and I was definitely leaning in that direction as well, though I'd like the total a little bit more. I mean, no offense to Taylor Jenkins here, solid coach, but at the same point in time, you would think a matchup of him versus Pop, you got to give a little edge to Pop, don't you? Conor, what do you think here? Spurs taking on the Grizzlies.
No, Wyatt. I think I'm going to stay off here. Just because I can't trust either of these teams. Just flat out. If I had to lean, if you had to make a bet on the side, I'd go Spurs because the Grizzlies just failed to cover all the time. It drove me nuts throughout the year. They have like an 8-point lead and they win by 3. You know what I mean? So I lean the Spurs in this one. I'm going to stay off. I kind of lean the game going under. Spurs games have gone over lately. Grizzlies games have gone under. So I'd lean the under on the side. I just don't love this game. The Spurs, man, they drove me nuts down at the end of the year. And I think I went 0-4 with them my last 4 times I bet them. That's why I'm a little hesitant to bet them here. I don't know if Valanciunas gets over 18.5 rebounds, but I think he could get over 13 or 14, Eric. And yeah, sorry, Wyatt. I just can't take the Grizz here, -4.
Yeah, definitely over 18.5 points. That's definitely an
Oh, he
interesting
said points.
thought.
I thought he said rebounds. My bad.
Yeah,
I
points.
read that wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk anyone out of that. We know the Grizzlies a little soft in the. I mean, I like Pirtle. Pirtle's okay. Pirtle's not the shut down. I'm going to shut off the rim type of interior player. He's just not. So I think there's going to be opportunity. And JV's got a physical advantage over him, to be honest with you. So I think it's a good prop. I think JV has an edge there in terms of the scoring in the low post there. So I wouldn't argue with that prop, not one bit. All right, we got Golden State and the LA Lakers. No disrespect to San Antonio, Memphis. That could be a good game, but everybody's a little bit more juiced up and excited for this one here. Lakers and Warriors, maybe a full-strength Laker team for the first time in quite a while tonight, which would be a great thing to see, to be honest. We've got the Lakers 5.5-point home favorites here in this one now, total down to 218.5. We'll have to wait and see, but you know what the Lakers are going to try to do, force the ball out of Steph Curry's hands and see who else can get the better of them, if anyone else is capable of getting the better of them. Can Andrew Wiggins have a big game? We know he's had a couple, but it's not a game-to-game consistent performance often from him. You're going to have Bazemore. You're going to have Draymond chip in offensively. We know he brings you the defense, but not always going to give you that offensive punch. Kavon Looney at the center spot for the Golden State Warriors. He's going to be dealing with a lot of size down low tonight, that's for sure. Now with Anthony Davis back, and you got Drummond down there as well for the Lakers. So it's going to be interesting to see if Golden State can put up a fight, because let's be honest, from a front court standpoint, aren't they a little bit overwhelmed? Aren't they a little bit outmatched here tonight down low for Golden State? It sure looks that way to me. I think this is an Anthony Davis game from a prop standpoint, guys. I mean, if you like props and you like a player that probably has some advantages tonight, like I know Anthony Davis frustrated Skee a little bit, frustrated some Lakers fans with the way he had been going there at times down the stretch of the regular season in terms of his performance. But, you know, playoff time, I get the sense the Lakers have been playing possum here a little bit. Like we know the narrative is what's wrong with the Lakers. They've been banged up beyond belief. They haven't had a consistent starting five out there for weeks, if not months now. And now watch, everybody looks like they're just about back and ready to go tonight. If you're the Lakers, you're looking at Schroeder, Caldwell Pope, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Andre Drummond starting five. It's all hands on deck now for the Lakers. Could they just be ready to flip that switch and look like the Lakers of last year again? Perhaps. You know that team has the capability of doing that. And that's why I'm not on Golden State here, because that was my initial lean. And then I saw the feeding frenzy. You know, when the line opened on Golden State, they opened the Lakers around 7.5 even in some spots in this game. And then it quickly got bet down to around 5.5. And now we've just started to see the Lakers get bumped up again. The Lakers look healthy and they play like they did last year. You know, they could cover this game very well. And I worry about where does Golden State turn to for a plan B and a plan C and a plan D if Curry is neutralized. And you know that's going to be the focal point of the Lakers' defensive game plan tonight. You know, the reigning, obviously, scoring leader, scoring title holder in the NBA. You know they got to try to do everything to neutralize him and dare someone else to beat them. And if that's the case, and the Lakers still are a top-level, elite-level defensive team, you know, they still are, especially when they've got all their personnel available, which they will tonight. So I worry a little bit about this for the Warriors tonight. And actually, this is the game I would lean under in from a totals perspective, because it's just one of those situations where I don't know where the offense comes from if Curry's bottled up, and I get the sense he could. And on the flip side, I think Anthony Davis from a prop standpoint is the way I go. I don't love it, but I lean a little to the Lakers here, laying the point. Skee, how do you see your Lakers going tonight against Golden State?
Well, before I start, and I will say I lean towards an under with you. But before I start on that one, I did want to some of these comments stood out to me. And one of them said, what I noticed, better team controlled the pace yesterday. And I kind of talked about that a lot. I used to talk about it a lot with Jimmy. Who controls the pace, the better team or the home team? I mean, in playoff, I mean, experience kind of wins out. And being at home, if you have fans, makes a big difference too. I think I would say the better team does control the pace. So I agree with what you said there. And it was one other comment, but I think I lost. Oh, the Valanciunas points. If I was going to bet on the Grizzlies in any way, that's the guy that I would bet on. So I think I agree with what he said there. And for the Lakers game, both teams capable of playing good defense, but it's going to be hard for the Golden State to defend the Lakers tonight. I mean, they have such a big advantage in the front court. Kavon, Looney, and Draymond Green versus Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond. Like, it's going to be an offensive rebounding fest and second chance points all night. So for that, I mean, I'll talk about props while we're there. I would look at Drummond if I'm going to isolate rebounds. His rebound total is 10.5. I think he can very easily go over that. And Anthony Davis, if I'm going to look for points, that's the guy I want to target because he's had, I think, 28 points or more his last 5, if I'm not mistaken. And there's nobody on this Golden State team that can match up with him. So I like those two there. And you kind of hinted at it, Ian, earlier. You said, I mean, how are the Lakers going to play Golden State defensively? They're going to trap Steph the same way they trap Dame and take the ball out of his hands. He's going to probably dump it off to Draymond Green and let the chips fall where they may. He's a great playmaker, but if you're taking Steph Curry out the game, I think that the Lakers can win by margin because the Lakers are going to get easy baskets at the rim all night long. So I like the Lakers minus the points in this one. Lean towards the under. I like Drummond over 10.5 rebounds and Anthony Davis over 26.5 points.
Yeah, the points. I even add on the points and rebounds even for Anthony because he could get some, but the points for sure. He's going to score a bunch, and maybe Andre Drummond will get more of the rebounds. So I understand what you're thinking is points with Davis, rebounds with Drummond as far as the props are concerned. I might even go with the all three. I mean, he's not a big assist guy, Davis, but the points, rebounds, and assists is out there. And I know there's a couple people I know that like that prop as well. Anthony Davis with the PRA, points, rebounds, and assists over that a number as well. It's just too obvious. Like anybody that knows the personnel of these two teams and and dissecting the matchups, which is something I thrive in, we know it's a front court edge for the Lakers. And it's not just a little one. It's a decisive one. It's in terms of size. It's in terms of the number of bodies the Lakers can put down there against that Golden State team. Totally a size mismatch. And it's something that could show up in the game tonight. What do you think here, Conor? Lakers hosting the Warriors.
Yeah, we'll start with the prop. That was the one I thought was the best, was the Andre Drummond, because it was plus money too, plus 105 over 10.5 rebounds. I thought that one's the best one on the board for the value wise. Yeah, I think let's start with the total. I think you got to lean under a little bit. If you think the Warriors are in this game, I think you maybe lean over. There was 2 games that the Golden State played in LA this year. I remember them clearly. They won by 2. Steph had a good game, I think. And then they got blown out like 115-90. So we'll see. I have a feeling it's going to be either or. I think Curry's got to be in it, like we talked about last night with Tatum. I mean, he's got to score 40 to 50 tonight for them to be in this game or even to try to win it. So, hey, I'm not going to say Steph Curry can't get it done. This guy's unreal. He shoots the lights out. But he's got to be on. If he's just a little off, I'm looking the Lakers' way a little bit here. I think they cover. And I lean towards the under as well. I'm with you guys. It's just kind of, it's a little, I could just see it going over, though. I mean, I just don't love it, but I lean that way here.
Yeah, the Lakers, by the way, they lost the first regular season game this season against the Warriors, and then after that, they just annihilated them. To rip them apart in the last 2 times they played the Warriors. So down the stretch. So I think the Lakers could win the game, and obviously 5.5. We're looking at a chance for them to get the point spread cover as well. Pub Sport 50 burger for Steph. Yeah, well, he's going to. Hopefully, he's ready for it tonight. I don't know if the Lakers will let him get a 50 burger. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not that he's not capable. It's will the defense just force him to have to, defer to Andrew Wiggins or defer to Draymond or defer to Bazemore or someone else. Look, there's no Kelly Oubre and there's no Damian Lee either. And those would have been one of your second, third, or fourth options scoring too. Say what you will about Oubre. He's had an injury-riddled season. He was terrible early in the year. But not having him is just, at least you got to pay some attention to him defensively. And it's another body out there that the Lakers have to worry about. So that also hurts, I think, in a matchup like this when it's load up time for the Laker defense on Curry in this game tonight. All right, we'll turn to Thursday where we have a win or go home situation here in this game. The 8th seed in the East on the line. The winner will play Philadelphia in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Washington and Indiana is the matchup here in this game taking place on a Thursday night. And we've got the Wizards, of course, falling into this game after losing to Boston last night. Wizards slight favorites here, 3.5, 239, 240 the total. It is a huge total in this game. I remember Indiana, Washington, the last time they played, I think the total was like 246.5 or something. And it was 124, 124 at the end of regulation time. 248 points in the game. Went over the total even without overtime in that game. I can't bet an under with Indiana. I was on that Charlotte, Indiana over yesterday. It got there with ease. It was about as easy as it gets from a betting standpoint. I could only look that way. They're playing extremely fast. There's pace beyond belief without Miles Turner on the floor. The defense is still sorely lacking. And look, they gave up 100 and they won the game because they just shredded Charlotte. And they're certainly going to score, I think, on Washington. But they gave up 117 to Charlotte, and Washington's going to give them more problems defensively than Charlotte did. And the question is going to be, can Bradley Beal be healthier than he was last night? That was clearly not a 100% Bradley Beal. You could tell he was physically ailing, physically impaired a little bit last night against the Boston Celtics. And it's a big reason why, again, the Wizards struggled to keep pace with Boston in that game. Well, the other reason was Jason Tatum just went nuts, which he's done on more than one occasion this season for the Boston Celtics. But again, Bradley Beal's health is imperative. If I get some quotes or I get some beat writer reports or something that I read, between now and maybe tomorrow afternoon that indicates he's going to be a little bit healthier, I'll probably jump on the over in this game because obviously if he's good enough to play, good enough to have a productive, efficient offensive game, be able to shoot without too much duress physically, he's going to be able to light up Indiana. But definitely would prefer it if Beal's a little bit healthier tomorrow night for that game than he was last night. But certainly for me, it would be over or pass. I don't know from a side perspective because Washington's now favored here, 3.5. I'll give Indiana some credit. It was a dominant performance. You could say it was against Charlotte, who had been reeling coming in. I still think Washington's the better team. I kind of want to take Washington, but I haven't made up my mind if I want to lay points yet with Washington. But right now I'm leaning to them. I think the over is what I like more, and I'll like it even more if I get a positive injury report that maybe Bradley Beal is going to feel a little bit better and be a little bit more mobile and healthier than he was last night. Skee, what do you think here? Wizards taking on the Pacers.
Yeah, I want no parts of betting the Pacers, regardless of what they did in that last game. So I agree. It's Washington or pass for me. I think they're the better team. And neither team really plays defense, but I especially don't trust the Pacers. So that's just my lean on the side. But I prefer the total. Both teams not good defensively, like we already mentioned. Both want to play up tempo. And regardless, if Bill is out, I still would lean towards over because the pace is going to be there. So over will be my main look in this game. As far as the player prop, I think you could jump back on the Russell Westbrook train. I think his rebounds and assists, or probably assist. Yeah, rebounds and assists. Indiana's not really a good rebounding team, so I would isolate those two and expect a high scoring game.
Yeah, unbelievable scoring. I mean, it was 248 the last time they played each other, and that was at the end of the fourth quarter. So it didn't even need overtime in that 133-132 game where it got to 265. I mean, it's been a scoring bonanza with these two. They play extremely fast. They don't have the greatest defense. And by the way, the Pacers without Turner, there's no rim protection there. So you look at Washington maybe to feast around the rim. They're going to get a ton of looks there. They're giving up the Pacers over 50 points per game in the paint. That's despicable. That is horrendous. 2-point defense. That's horrendous interior defense. And it's been a problem all, for the last several weeks, if not a month or two even, for this Indiana Pacers team. So that ain't getting corrected overnight, not by this coaching staff, which of course has had their issues and all season long. There's even whispers that they might make a coaching change at the end of this season, which is crazy because Nate Bjorkgren's only in his first season there, but there's whispers of that anyway. Connor, what do you think here? Washington, Indiana.
Real quick, Josh Murphy, DeRozan over a half 3-pointer. I see it plus 300 too. I think there's a few guys for the Spurs if you like they're over their threes. They got to hit them tonight. They got to shoot the rock well. If they shoot it well, they'll have a good chance of winning. So, you might want to look at a few other guys as well. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, how can you not take the over? This is the playoffs. I try to look towards the under, especially as once these teams get going. Because even last year, like we talked about, some of these early series, there's still no defense. It's just the teams. They suck. They can't play defense, like the Pacers and the Wizards. So I lean, even at this high number, I'd lean it over. And I'd roll with the Wizards. I don't know if I can lay 3, kind of like you mentioned, Ian. It's just tough. They're the better team. Beal's banged up, though. I just think they're a bit better. It's just laying points with this team now that they played so well down the stretch. And they shot horrible last night. Going through all the stats afterwards and then watching the highlights, that's what I was telling Ian. I was surprised they played such a great first half. We're up by 2. They just shot it horrible. I think they made 3 threes. Just didn't play well, didn't shoot the ball well. I think they shoot it better. But, yeah, I like the over a little bit better, and I lean the Wiz here a little bit, -3.
Yeah, I think the Wizards advance. I lean to them laying the points. I like that over, though, for sure. Should be a lot of points in this game. Let's put it that way. And look, Indiana, they shot well yesterday. We'll see if they can keep it going. But defensively, they're just going to be tested a lot more. I have more faith in what Washington could do offensively, even with a 50 or 60% Beal, Westbrook, Hachimura, Davis Bertans, a marksman from downtown. There's just going to be a lot more that Indiana's going to have to worry about here in this game, and could trouble them for sure. So, yeah, isn't it amazing? Mike Campbell with a great comment in the chat. It's pretty funny, an elimination game, because that's what it is. Yep. It's win or go home, this Washington-Indiana game. 239 total, and we can't bet any parts of it under the total. Welcome to NBA 2020, right? I mean, this would have been insane. Like 10, 20 years ago, people are backing up the Brinks truck to bet under 239 in an elimination playoff game. And now we're worried with these two teams and these two paces and these two defenses. Can't do it. So amazing how things change in a decade or two. But nevertheless, great stuff, guys. Conor and Skee. That's your look at the Wednesday and Thursday play-in games. We will be back on Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll look at the final play-in game, which will be the West 8 seed matchup. It'll be the loser of the Golden State LA Lakers game against the winner of the San Antonio Memphis game. They will play each other Friday night for the West 8 seed. We are going to be back also starting this Saturday with NBA closing time 7 days a week, starting this Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on both Saturday and Sunday for the rest of the season, breaking down the daily NBA playoff card. And then Monday to Friday, the show will remain at the time that we've done it 3 days a week all season, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So this time slot will remain the same for the weekday shows, and then we'll be on Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, with the NBA closing time show, which is perfect because the first playoff game on Saturday is Brooklyn versus Boston, game 1 of that series at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be like a playoff pregame show, pre-bet show, I guess you could say, on Saturday and Sunday. So looking forward to that and looking forward to the playoffs in general. So it should be a lot of fun. Before we get to best bets, to wrap up this edition of the NBA closing time shows, we always do at this time of the show. We pause for 30 seconds to have this advertisement and message from one of our great sponsors here of Pub Sports Radio, Manscaped. All right, Manscaped, promo code PubSports. Check them out. Take care of yourself with all those great male grooming products. Take care of yourself. Take care of that body, everything. Manscaped, promo code PubSports. And mybookie.ag. Check them out as well. Promo code PubSports. NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs in the NHL, MLB Daily, UFC every week. We've got golf, PGA Championship, the second major of the golf season this weekend. Looking forward to that. I'll be tuned into that, betting some of that as well. Find all of that and more at mybookie.ag. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. So check that out, mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, it is best bet time. Conor, Mac, we'll start with you today. What do you like for your best bet? Any of the 3 games, the 2 tonight or the 1 tomorrow?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on one of the guys in the chat asked about the series. Real quick, I'll just go. He mentioned Portland and Nuggets. There's not a value with me. I'd go game by game. The only series I like that has value, I mentioned, I think on the last show, was the Heat. You can probably get from plus 230 to 250. That's the only one to win the
That's a
series that
scary
I think has
theory
real.
from Milwaukee. I think they've learned some
Yeah,
things from last year, but there's
yeah,
part of me that says hey, you got to show it that you've
maybe
learned some
not.
things.
I think so too. So it'll be interesting. That's the only one I think that has value. Real quick. All right, for the best bet, I like the Drummond prop. Is over 10.5 rebounds, but I won't give the prop. Give me the Golden State Lakers under 219. I think the Lakers dictate the pace, and this game stays under the total 219.
All right, Golden State, LA Lakers under 219. Best bet for Conor Mack on this Wednesday NBA slate. If the Friday show is because we only have one game that day, we'll do a playoff preview on Friday's closing time show. We'll go through series prices, all that stuff through the first round matchups on Friday's show. So we'll do that on Friday. We'll go through every first round series. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll give our thoughts on the first round matchups. Skee, what do you like here for best bet?
You're muted, brother.
Oh, he's muted.
There.
My bad.
Oh,
You know, I like both of these games kind of equally. I guess I'll go with the Lakers. I don't think Ian's going to use the Lakers minus 5.5. So I think they win by double digits in this game. That'll be my best bet.
All right, I do like the Lakers, but not that much. LA Lakers minus 5.5 against Golden State. Best bet for Skee Profit. I'll have a couple bucks on the Lakers, but it's just not super strong. They have the potential though to win and cover this number. I mean, matchup wise, it makes sense. I just want to make sure the cohesiveness is there right from the get go because this is a group that hasn't played a lot of basketball and a lot of minutes together with their starting group all together at the same time. So that's the only concern. But I agree. I wouldn't touch Golden State tonight personally. But you never know with Steph Curry. But Skee Profit going with the Lakers for his best bet. Mine is going to be San Antonio, Memphis over the total 222. I like that one. Charlotte, Indiana was my one total yesterday. It got there. It was the early game yesterday. This is the early game tonight, and I think we see the same thing. Offensive edges, both teams. I think Valanciunas and company down low against a bad Spur interior will do damage. On the flip side, San Antonio offensively, their backcourt, their guard play, I think is going to be able to score offensively against this Memphis team that sometimes struggles against that. Murray, DeRozan, and company can have a big game for the Spurs. Neither team locked down at the defensive end. So I like Spurs, Grizzlies over 222. That'll be my best bet for tonight. And that'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Closing Time Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. We'll be back with you Friday for another edition of the NBA Closing Time Show. And reminder, this weekend, we start 7 days a week with this show, Saturday, Sundays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 7 days a week with the NBA Closing Time Show starting this weekend throughout the NBA playoffs right here on Pub Sports Radio. For Skee Profit, for Conor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you again Friday for another edition of the NBA Closing Time Show right here on Pub Sports Radio.